welcome to the Zen Garden. Once again, we're opening our mind to contemplate an idea that is pure gold, literally. Investment into gold. And the reason for this, I've had a number of people who've asked me, should I go and buy gold as a hedge against the world going to hell in a chicken basket? And I think the first and foremost thing that comes to my mind is no. There you go. Oh, that's not the end of the video, by the way. That's more to us. So let me justify that a little bit. So why do we buy gold? Well, it used to be a symbol of individual wealth, going back to ancient times, and the reason for that is there's not much gold. It's very, very rare. There's about enough of it to form a cube that will fill Trafalgar Square, something like that. Also, it tends not to tarnish and go off because there's a very low redox potential for all the chemists out there. Latterly, countries would base the value of their currency on the amount of gold that they had. So you can see that there's a link between the wealth of individuals, the wealth of nations, and the amount of gold you had. But that's all kind of changed now. We have what are called fiat currencies that are underpinned really by sort of a promise and an understanding that a currency is worth something to someone. So people buy gold because it's seen as a safe haven, because there isn't much of it when things go horribly wrong. So why wouldn't you go and buy a lump of gold, like bullion or coins at this point? Well, the first is that the gold market, particularly bullion market, is unregulated. So all the protections that you have within the investment, certainly that we arrange for you, you don't enjoy any of those whatsoever. The second thing is that while gold has historic value in contemporary society, there are other rare earths and materials and commodities that command equal or more value, such as the stuff that's in the semiconductors in the device to which I'm recording this. And actually, if you look at the last couple of dips in stock markets, they have performed significantly better than gold. The other point is that gold doesn't produce any kind of yield whatsoever, so you're solely reliant on the price of gold going up during a downturn. Whereas if you look at other assets that perform well and have performed well during most downturns, not all, but most downturns, things like real estate and commodities like timber, these investments actually, yes, they could grow in value, but they'll also give you an income. So even if they don't grow in value, they give you an income. When you put all that together, what it suggests is a more diversified approach to risk mitigation in the portfolio than simply rushing off and buying gold. It implies that maybe we would go and buy gold without necessarily a deeper understanding of entirely what it entails, including the risks of a deregulated market. I think also a more salient point from the safety of the walled garden of our mind, of course, is if gold is an unregulated market and yes, it goes up in a disaster, but to realise anything other than an increase in numbers on a computer screen, you've actually got to be able to sell it back into the currency and the assets that are likely to be suffering a downturn, which doesn't make a great deal of sense. And if it was a real disaster, you might not be able to do that because those markets might be locked up. And if one is really thinking about disaster recovery protocols and failure mode contingencies here, to quote just a couple of the little acronyms that we use in protecting your financial services, you might actually be better off investing the money in a survival kit to have in your house. If things are going to be that bad, you might want to have, a survival kit in the house with 3 days worth of food and water. Who knows? Maybe that would be a better investment than going off and buying gold coins, which you can't eat, you can't sell in a disaster, and have no yield in your investments. Anyway, there you go. Those are my thoughts on gold. I hope that hasn't disturbed your karma if you were thinking about gold. So peace and love, and we'll see you next time.